Hey everyone, it's Mike, founder at Homeworks, and I wanted to walk you through what we're doing over the next 90 days here internally at the team at Homeworks to ensure the reliability of Homeworks is increased. Now, over the past year, just a little bit of background, we've been swapping the entire backend architecture of Homeworks to an updated code-based language of React and Next.js with new APIs, and a lot of the things that we have already built and migrated over have very few bugs, whether that be field force, payments, tipping, the customer portal, cards on file, deposit thresholds, and even net new features like waitlist and unscheduled work have been built in the new code language of Next.js and React. Now, I'm going to talk about for a second why we did those first, and then talk about what we're doing the next 90 days. The reason we really went after areas like security, authentication, payments, etc. first is because those are areas that touch your customer. And when we made big improvements to the customer portal, we saw a huge jump in close rate inside of Homeworks for our members. Huge leverage. Now we are taking that same logic that works well for a customer portal, for field force, and we're applying it to events inside of the software, inside of the CRM, the part that many of us in operations are touching every single day. But the reason we went first after payments is because the last thing you want is customer cards being charged randomly and people that you have a bunch of their information being held ransom. And this is the type of security threats and data breaches that we see are going to be on the uprise with AI. And we want to make sure that all of those parts that touched your actual customer were locked solid. And that's why we focused on those things in 2025. Now, at the beginning of 2026, we said we would go page by page and piece by piece throughout the software and convert it all from that old PHP language into this new code base of React and Next.js. And so the big part that we're going to be facing over the next 90 days, I'm really excited that we can finally touch this part of the code base. It's at the core of really all elements of Homeworks. And it is the events. That is everything from scheduling one-time jobs to recurring events, the off-season, and a lot of these events, parts of the code base, actually trickle into things like automations, the dispatch board, or other areas where you're like, well, there's been bugs other places, but a lot of it is tied back to this rat's nest of events that we've tried to band-aid or fix in the meantime. But now, as we've fixed a lot of parts of the code base around events, we are now diving in deep for the next 90 days to really tackle this issue and completely swap it over from PHP into this new code language. So over the next 90 days, we're refactoring this part of the code base, and we are doing it as delicately as we possibly can. We are absolutely putting everything in terms of resources, energy, and time to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. We are cautiously optimistic that we can do this without interfering with your workflow and minimizing downtime. But I'll be very honest, this is the most delicate part of the code, and it's tied to every aspect of the code base. But we've been working up to this part over the past year and making sure that the infrastructure can actually handle us going in here, guns a-blazing, and fixing this very fundamental piece of the software. By redoing events and putting in the new APIs, this is going to really set us up for a solid foundation for us to build a lot faster and more reliably instead of crossing our fingers when we roll out features that have nothing to do with events, but it caused issues in the past. These are called regressions. And we think we can completely solve this problem and fix this once and for all. Give us 90 days, and I look forward to being able to improve the reliability. And by doing that, be able to add things in the future that we have always wanted to, like routing intelligence features, be able to balance out your route throughout your week based upon budget hours as more jobs are added. These are things that we want to integrate, and using AI and giving you API and MCP access to build your own bespoke tools inside of your agent and using AI. But we need to make sure that first, this part of the code base, this fundamental centerpiece of the software is rock solid. And that's what we'll be working on over the next 90 days.